God the Father, God the Father. Now, yeah, I mean, this is a very deep, deep one just concerning God the Father alone. Oh, man. See, a lot of you, honestly, I'm gonna just be real. If you're not really handpicked by God, just don't even bother listening to this. I'm just gonna be very real because this is very deep. And see, I'm being led by Him concerning this. God the Father. I am. You gotta understand that I have a relationship with both of them too. And it's not no easy thing or nothing with this stuff, people. You gotta understand that this stuff is very intense, that I'm about to get into concerning God the Father, Him, God the Father. And see, He's very deep, He's very intense. And see, I'm telling you, I really do fear Him. That's what you gotta understand about me. I fear Him, I fear His judgment, I fear His judgment is what you gotta understand. I fear Him. And man, see, that's what I'm saying. God the Father, He's not a game, He's not a joke. And I'm gonna be real. See, the thing about God the Father is like he's just not playing, is what you gotta understand. He's not playing with anybody. It's a fearful thing to fall in His hands. All this deep stuff, He casts as many souls to hell. He rejects many people's repentance. And He just be doing a lot of crazy stuff, if I'm being real. And I'm about to get into all this stuff concerning God the Father and Him, and just Mello speaking concerning this stuff too. Yeah, because excuse me, man, see, before I even get into this too, as I'm being led by Him, see, a lot of you Christian people, see, you're done, man. You're done when it comes to God the Father. You really are. Because see, the thing is, you Christian people, you're not even following Him. That's the thing. You people are not even following Jesus either, if I'm being real. Some of you, very few Christians that God picked, you do, the real Jesus does like present Himself to you, you Christian people, certain ones. And then you others, you're just not even following Jesus either. So, man, that's what I'm saying. This stuff ain't even for you people. Honestly, it's not for you Christians. And your other religions, I don't even gotta mention your other religions, you're just gonna perish, because it's religion. So understand that God is done with all that stuff. He's always in the midst of this stuff, which you gotta understand. Because see, God is just against that, is all I'm trying to say. God the Father, He's against that stuff, and He's in the midst of destroying it, is what I'm trying to say. That was what I was trying to say. And God the Father, He's very intense, and He's He's against religion. He's against all this stuff. He's against false teachers and all this stuff. He's against all this stuff. That's what you gotta understand about God. And see, man, see, God is like, I'm gonna be real, like, I follow Him and the real Jesus too. But see, I'm just focusing on God the Father. See, because that's all this really is about concerning this particular stuff right here, concerning Him. And see, I'm just kind of even, man, I don't even know what to say concerning this stuff, because see, I don't agree with God the Father on a lot of stuff, and I'm just gonna get into a lot concerning God the Father. But yeah, before I even do that as well, like, God is in the midst of all things. And He's aware of everything. That's what you gotta understand too about God the Father. But He is against religion, totally against that. And He's against false teachers, and He's against this world too. So what you gotta understand, He's against the earth realm and all this stuff. That's what you gotta understand. But see, I'm gonna get into a lot concerning God the Father. I am. So, this will be a lengthy one, but this is only for God's elect, and everybody else, don't even bother with this. You won't even be getting through this anyhow concerning the message, because, you people are already given over by, by God the Father to the enemy, is what I'm trying to say. And it's not a game. I'm not holding back anything. And what you also got to understand too is that, I'm not being perfect in my speech or all that crazy stuff. You people done. All you people done. And see, God is not playing. That's what I'm saying. But anyhow, God the Father, He's very intense, and I'm just gonna be real. Like, He's very huge too. concerning in the spirit realm, And I'm just gonna give you people a little bit of some, certain things that I've gone through with God and overall just God the Father, and Mello speaking concerning God the Father. I mean, once again, he is very intense, very huge, unshakable, indescribable being. And see, he will never fully be discovered. Even going in the spirit realm, you're still not gonna. Man, this stuff is deep. And see, God the Father, I'm gonna be real. Like, he has so many sides to him too. He does. He has. I want to say he has like. I'm just gonna say he has a merciful side. He has a merciful side. And he does love his people and people that he has interest in. Everybody else, no, he don't. And see, that's the thing about God the Father, he don't. So you people hearing this too, majority of you know he's not for. I'm being real, because see, a lot of you take him for a joke, and see, God is not playing around. He's not playing around. That's what you gotta understand about God. Like, what he says, it goes, and that is it. That's the thing about God, and about God the Father. And yeah, I mean, he's just very intense, very once again, he has a merciful side, but see, God, he's aware of all things. He's outside of the earth realm. He created all realms, and like I said, if he doesn't have interest in you, then you're just done. I'm being real. And see, that's the crucial thing about this stuff too. Yeah, it is pretty crucial. It is. But what you gotta understand is God is not playing around. He doesn't care about your emotions. He does not care about how you feel and all that stuff. All he cares about is his kingdom, his will, and his people, and people he has interest in on a spiritual level. That's it. Everything else will be burning. And God is going to destroy many things, and he already is. And see, God, he curses people. He puts people under major tests. He puts things upon people that they're just really not able to bear, if I'm being real. God the Father, he does. He allows many things too. And see, that's the thing, about God, he does. And see, I mean, man, it's deep, because God the Father, man, he's just, he's very intense, and he's already knowing everything. That's what you gotta understand. So it's like, God the Father is just very, he's very intense, and he's very, I'm going to be real too. Like, he's very hard to get to too. That's what I'm saying. He is, because without the real Jesus, you're not getting to God at all, and see, you reject the real Jesus, then you're already just done too. And just get prepared for hell, get prepared for hell in the lake of fire. Get prepared for much torment, much suffering. And just get prepared to be lost too, and under God the Father's delusions. Because I'm about to get into all this stuff concerning God the Father. This is a very lengthy one, so everybody, it's not for worrying. Just get ready for hell, being real. But see, God the Father, he does a lot of stuff. That's what I'm saying. He has a lot of sides to him. He gets very angry. A lot of stuff God just does, and he doesn't even care about what Jesus is saying, really, too. That's what you gotta understand. There's certain things, he's just like, yeah, I'm just about to destroy this stuff. And I'm just about to destroy this stuff. I'm about to flood this particular place. I'm about to have plagues, plaguing certain individuals, certain people, I'm just giving over to the enemy, I'm giving you the real God concerning God the Father. About to curse his or her health. This person, I'm about to give over to the enemy, and this is God the Father doing this, is what I'm telling you. And man, I mean, God is just not playing, what you gotta understand. And more and more people, he's just giving over to the enemy, speaking of that stuff with him. And see, God the Father, even in biblical times too, and in the Bible, cursing many people, God opens up the earth in the book of Numbers and swallows a bunch of people for being in rebellion. And see, yeah, I do kind of understand that on a high intense level too. So I'm not going to, like I said, I do understand God the Father on a very spiritual level, but I just don't agree with him on everything. But see, that stuff, I mean, yeah, that stuff gets very intense. The people were in rebellion and they were operating in some stuff that was like deeper than just some low level sins. No, they were operating in rebellion. See, God has to really deal with that. He has to. So I understand that stuff. But see, yeah, but I'm just giving you the real God concerning the God the Father. See, God the Father, he opened up the earth and swallowed a bunch of people, and they just went to hell. You see, Jesus was not on the scene and all that stuff. That's what you got to understand about this. And God the Father, he opened up the earth and swallowed a bunch of people. Once again, the book of Numbers, and they went to hell. That's what you gotta understand. They did not, no, they went to hell. That's what you gotta understand. And it's not a game. God is is still on that timing, is what I'm telling you. He is. And God, the Father, does many, many, many things, He curses people once again. He puts people under mental curses. Yeah, man. God the Father, man, he does a lot of stuff. Excuse me. As I'm being led by him, man, I mean, he does a lot. Once again, like I say, he curses a lot of people, man, he did a lot of stuff. That's what I'm saying, concerning the stuff, like sending plagues down, even in the biblical times, and even now too. That's what you gotta understand. Man, you gotta understand. Because see, God the Father, like I said, he does have a spiritual contract with the enemy, Satan, and all that stuff too. So, more or less, Satan plays a role in certain things too. But see, God the Father overall is just, he's very intense. That's what I'm saying, And see, as I'm being led by him too, he can give somebody cancer too. That's what I'm saying. God can do this stuff. And honestly, when God gives you cancer, it don't even have nothing to do with really Satan at that point. Because see, God be really giving certain people cancer because, they have unforgiveness and all this stuff within them and all this stuff. And see, God sees that stuff. And see, all these people, they be bitter and all this stuff. So God just gives certain people cancer, all this stuff, He gives people cancer. Man, so much stuff with God, And this is a very deep one, so this ain't for everybody and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, God just like, man, he just does a lot of stuff that's very intense, and I don't agree with everything concerning. I'm about to get into that type of stuff too, but I'm just being led by him concerning the stuff before I even get into the deep matters about him, because this stuff is deep with God the Father. Like he sends major tests too concerning his people too, and I don't agree with this. Yeah, this is what I don't agree with God too. Like, Job too. I don't agree with that stuff. Job is blameless and all this stuff. He's blameless. He's doing everything right. All this stuff. And God the Father sends the devil after him at a very high level. Is what you gotta understand. He sends the devil, taking out 10 of his kids and allowing a house to collapse on 10 of his kids, boils on his skin and all this stuff. Like, I do not agree with that with God, because he could have just, of course, tested him. But like, I'm just telling you, the real Jesus would not have tested him like that. That's what I'm trying to tell you. He would have, like I said, maybe allow a certain curse and then remove it. But see, God was, doing all this stuff. That's what I'm trying to say. And see, that's what I'm saying. He sent the devil after Job on this extreme level, and all this stuff. And it's very intense with that. I don't agree with that Job stuff. And see, a lot of people don't want to talk about Job because, they want to overlook it. And, God is love. Like, no, he's not. He's not just that alone. That's what I'm telling you, And you should know this stuff, what you got to understand, because God the Father, once again, allowed a house to collapse on 10 Job's kids after he's doing everything right, people. The nigga Job is blameless. That's what you gotta understand. He's blameless and an upright servant, and he's doing everything right. And then why do you test him like that, though? God is what I'm trying to ask. God, the Father, and he has explained certain things, but I still truly just don't agree with that stuff. There's many other things I don't agree with God too. I don't like. This no weapon formed against you shall prosper, all this stuff too. I don't agree with that either. It may be a certain spiritual reality with that, but also like naturally, no, many things can prosper. That's what you gotta understand. So yeah, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. These Christians, that's what I'm saying. They be saying all this stuff too. And they're very like, they don't even, that's what I'm saying. They're not even following God the Father, because they're not following him, and they're not, majority of them are not even following the real Jesus either. Very few of them, even the real Jesus presents himself, to them. And everybody else, no, he doesn't. And see, they don't know this concerning this stuff, because they're still quoting that stuff. No weapon formed against you. And see, stuff can prosper. Many things can. And I'm telling you, it can. I've been in the midst of this stuff, and I know this stuff by the Spirit. So yeah. I mean, it's a spiritual effect to that on a spiritual level concerning certain attacks with Satan and concerning God's elect. Yeah, on a spiritual level. But no, naturally, yeah, many things can prosper. So, I don't agree with that with God too. God the Father, I'm just implementing that, by the Spirit, too. I don't agree with that. Many other things too, like a lot of stuff too. I'm just being led by the Spirit with everything too. Because you gotta understand, I do love God. I do still love him. I just don't agree with him on a lot of stuff though. I don't, it's a lot of stuff like, it's a lot of stuff. But the thing is, overall, I do understand God. So that's why I just, this has a lot to do with why I follow God the Father too. I do. I've given up many things, along my journey, and even in the beginning stages. I just backpedaled, people. That's all I'm trying to say. I backpedaled in certain, little sins and all that stuff. But I never turned my back on God. I never and lost my spirituality with him too. I never lost any of that or anything. That's what you gotta understand about me, but anyhow, yeah, I mean, God the Father, there's a lot of stuff I don't agree with, concerning him. It's a lot of deep stuff. And I'm just getting into these things by the Spirit, many things though. Like I said, God be doing too. Like I said, he did a lot of stuff, even in biblical times, and still is doing these things too. Excuse me. Yeah. See, another thing I don't agree with too is like, it's like, okay, like the thing is like God, God the Father, like, like it's just a lot of stuff he be like doing in a way, and like, saying in a way too. And it's like, it's just very, it's very intense, and it's very, just really intense with a lot of certain things. And see, I agree with God on certain things, and other things I don't. That's all I'm really doing, really trying to say is more or less, I didn't mean to say doing, but say is what I'm trying to say. Like, I'm just trying to get into more and more things, as I'm being led by the Spirit, but it's a lot of stuff concerning God the Father, because he's very intense, and he is to be feared. That's what you gotta understand. He is still to be feared, but I'm just giving you certain things concerning him, because he is. You must understand, God the Father is a whole nother being. He is all seeing, all knowing, and and all this deep stuff with him, and yeah, it's a lot of stuff concerning God. Like I said, I don't agree with him sending the devil after Job the way he did, on that high intensity, after he's, blameless and all this stuff. Like, it'd been different if he did that with a different particular individual who was just maybe like rejecting him or just causing harm on others or something like that. I can understand God doing something like that with. But see, he did it with a blameless servant. Come on, man. You can't be doing that, God the Father, with Job, man. Yeah, take him through tests, of course, because, you must be tested. I can understand God testing people and his people for the love, for their love for him. I can understand that. I do truly understand that. And there's many other things I do understand with God. I do. But overall, there's certain things I don't agree with God the Father. Like, it's just a lot of other stuff. Like, I'm just trying to get into these matters, though, by the Spirit. Because it's a lot of stuff, It's a lot of different stuff. Outside of that, the Job stuff, too. So many more things that God be doing. God the Father, overall, he just like I said, he rejects a lot of people. He doesn't have interest in a lot of people. He's just the Alpha and Omega too, is what you gotta understand about God too. He is the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end and all that deep stuff. I'm just trying to see some other stuff too concerning God, because see, God the Father, he do be on some other stuff too. He really do. He really, really does be on some other timing. And I've already given you certain people certain stuff too. But I'm just trying to get into some more in-depth things concerning God, because he is very intense, is what I'm trying to say, like it's just a lot of stuff with God is all I'm really saying. He's on the throne, and it's very intense with him, is what I'm saying, because he's quicker to just reject you more than bring you in to the kingdom. That's what I'm saying. Oh yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, I'm one function of the Holy Ghost, as I'm saying, is that he will bring things back to your remembrance. Glory to him. I know he's even he's telling me about what I'm about to say too. He's already explained these certain matters to me already, but it's just certain stuff I still don't agree with him on. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff concerning God the Father. It's like the enemy doesn't want you to get this, but what I'm telling you is that there is a lot of stuff concerning God the Father. What else though? I was just ready to say some certain things. God the Father. It's just a lot, man. It's a lot concerning God the Father. Like I said, really, he is quicker to reject you than accept you. That's the thing. And it's not a game with that stuff. God will reject your ass and just cast you to hell. That's the thing about God the Father. And see, it's very intense with this stuff. It's not a game. It's not a game. And see, there's only so much the real Jesus can do. But see, getting back to God the Father, there's a lot of stuff He's he does, and he's done, and he will be doing, and does. I lost my train of thought concerning the certain things that he be doing though. All this different stuff with God, man. God the Father. Man. It's a lot. It's a lot, I'm gonna take a slight break and then return to this, So, with all that being said, I'm out.